For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Bergman, and I would like to start out by thanking you all for all the hard work that you've done so far out at the Craig plant. And I know we got folks coming from Hayden as well, and of course that job is about finished. But great job for building two great projects for our clients here in northern Colorado. Saturday, I had the pleasure and the chance to go to the Alvin Thomas Rodeo in Many Farms, and I know that great job, all of you donated some money towards the rodeo there, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the family. We're super appreciative of everything that the TIC family has done for Alvin's family, and I can't tell you just how special it is to be with that family and the love they bear towards TIC, and their fervent wish for us to do our work every day the safe way and return everybody home towards their family at the end of the day. So I just wanted to pass that along as well. Safety is hard to measure, right? The things that we count are always the things that go wrong. And a win in safety is nothing, right? Zeros is the jobs that we celebrate at the end when we really have succeeded by nothing going wrong. I think we started on our path to really count the things before something happens with our observations, and you guys are doing an awesome job of really making that work. Speaking up things that you see and allowing everybody to participate in changing the course of a job. And I think events like this and the things we hear today and really taking those to heart are a big piece towards really making sure that our safety culture matches all of the things that we do and we have processes in place to do. But it really is one day at a time with everything that we control individually every minute of the day. And I want to thank you for going every day without an injury, without an incident, and really making us better today than we were yesterday. So with that, I appreciate your effort in coming today and your attention today, and let's enjoy a great day of learning more about how we can get even better with our safety culture.
Thanks, Michael. You'll see me, I've become technology. I'm using my notes off my phone. So, morning everyone. Pretty amazing, this group cleans up pretty good. I'm impressed, so good job. Even Emmett. So, a couple things, just some housekeeping items. Cell phones off or on vibrate, okay? No ringing in here. Don't be looking at your phone. We got breaks in between, they're plenty long to go do that stuff. So there's restrooms, they're across the foyer there to the right, and there's also back here, I think it's room 158, there's an open door on one of the rooms that is set up for us also, so an extra bathroom. So off to the right and back here if you need restrooms. So in case of emergency, we'll all get up, just go out the way we came in through the front door and assemble out in the parking lot. Nobody leave, like we all know. We've got lifts, we have to go through the lift, check everybody off. So everybody knows the way out. We leave orderly and just head out the front door. So back in your seats promptly after each break, if you would please. We've got 3 key speakers who have all traveled in from a long ways away. They all have a great message, so we owe it to them. A few people I would like to thank ahead of time. Michael again, our district manager, for coming. Kevin Featherston back here. Those of you who don't know, Kevin's our district safety manager. So now that we finally figured out how we're realigned. So a couple other people, Steve Cart. Steve's here. Steve's gonna give a little talk at the end. Steve's done a great job leading up the safety leadership training through the whole company. And he's got a great message, so I want to thank him for that. And he's come out for the last couple of days and taken some walks around and help us see what new set of eyes and how things look. Tim Van Alstyne, where you at, Tim? comes over here. Tim's a longtime TIC superintendent, kind of in between jobs, so he came out. He's been on site for the last couple of days. He's helped look around, see new set of eyes, and help us see things. So thanks, Tim. Lee Magruder, where you at, Lee? Lee's over here. Lee's a construction manager. So he had some free time, so he came down to help us. Not to mention that he does live in Craig, so this gives him a weekend home. So it wasn't hard to twist his arm. So thanks for coming, Lee. Sam Embry, where you at, Sam? Sam is in back. Sam is the man of the hour. Sam's a construction manager. Sam is the guy who he was the project manager on building our new training center in Denver. So he's the man. So once you get to go see that training center, you will be impressed. It is a world-class facility, and Sam headed that up. So thanks, Sam. Great job. We appreciate it. Tyson Cooper, did you make it? I haven't seen you. There he is. Okay. Tyson's down from the drag line, safety manager up there, so appreciate you coming. So then, everybody got some paper here. It's got the agenda on it, a little bio on each speaker, so I ain't gonna say much about the speakers because they speak way better than I do, and they got a way better message than I do. So you can read a little bit about them. Everybody's got a pen, a piece of paper. Take some notes, okay? Because when we were thinking about doing this, these three speakers spoke at El Paso at the beginning of the year, and I was lucky enough to be invited to that. And went, and I had the notes still in my briefcase when we started thinking about this, and I pulled them out and started looking at the notes again, and it was pretty amazing what came back to me. I wish I had seen them. I would have checked them sooner and more often, but there's some great topics here. They're going to give you some great things to think about and a great message. So take some notes and keep them if you would, please. So why are we doing this today? The message here is very simple. It's not real complex, it's real simple. But it applies to each one of us. And we got to remember that it's each one of us. We've all been in that place and in that stage where we've said it's the other guy, it'll happen to the other guy, it'll never happen to me. You'll see through these talks, it is for each one of us, and it can happen to each one of us. So that's from the newest person on the project, up through Emmett, up through me, all the way to the top of the organization. It applies to everyone, so please pay attention. So extreme ownership is just that. Own everything you do, every action you do, own up to it, and understand how it's not only going to affect you, but affect others around you. And it may not just be in the immediate vicinity. It could be pretty distance. Once you hear Steve talk, you'll understand that. So, again, the speakers are talking to you, not the person in front of you, not the person to your right or left. They're speaking to each one of us. So make sure you're listening that way. So with that, Mr. Steve Howe is going to start us with a little video, and please pay attention. So Steve, it's all you. Thank you.
This is a story of a near tragedy. It's the story of Steve Howe and what happened to him on one seemingly ordinary day on the job. It's the story of an instant when things went horribly wrong and the years it has taken to overcome the odds and return to health, life.
I was a faller and an operator for Peter Kiewit's on Sea to Sky Highway project. Normally in a job like this, you work in groups of two, but in some cases you use machine assist.
It was 11:30 in the morning, and Steve and an excavator operator were working together. Steve was standing on the side of a gully, several meters above the excavator in the tree.
I was working with the excavator operator to remove the last tree for the day. I first do the undercut, and then I do the back cut. Then I guide the machine into position, and then I clear. I thought I was in the safe zone, and then the boom swelled back towards me, and then the bucket dropped right into my pelvis.
It is pure chance that the angular force of the blow didn't kill Steve on the spot.
As the bucket hit me, I felt the teeth penetrate my pelvis and in my abdomen. As it pulled me down, branches and rocks and sticks were going into my back, and then the teeth let go of me, and I rolled into the tree that I fell and towards the machine.
Steve was treated immediately with the first aid resources that were available.
I started hearing some chatter on the radio in regards to a serious accident. I asked what had happened. He said an excavator bucket had hit him.
When we first arrived on scene, we found Steve at the bottom of a gully in a horrendous mess with a first aid attendant trying their best to take care of him. He looked pretty grim at that point.
The paramedic, he didn't think Steve was gonna survive.
The quick and appropriate response was critical in keeping Steve alive.
One of the hardest things I've ever done in my Kiewit career was notify Steve's mother that her son had been in a very serious accident.
When Grayson called me on the phone, it was mother's worst nightmare. He couldn't tell me what was wrong with my son. I was so upset, I asked him, "You owe me this. Is my son dead?"
During the transport, we talked to Steve with continuous running commentary in order to keep his blood pressure up and to kind of keep his spirits up for the transport.
I was still awake when we landed.
He finally looked up and said, "Can I stop talking now? I just want to rest. Is it okay if I go to sleep?" We said yes. And he didn't wake up again for 3 months.
He knew from the get-go that he was in very serious trouble. His blood pressure was low. He had this horrible gaping wound in the middle of his body. His pelvis was obviously severely crushed. His blood pressure was beginning to drop, and he was beginning to lose consciousness. We certainly were very unsure that he would survive that first week. So Steve is our miracle man. He's not just a miracle of modern trauma care, and certainly that played a huge role in his survival. But he's really a miracle of one man's determination to overcome not only major life-threatening injuries, but all the disabilities that followed after that.
I got the call that Steve was in an accident, and I went into shock.
I heard about the accident when I was out on our patio studying, and Dana had come to me and said that there were messages left on the voicemail that he was expected to live.
When we first saw him in the intensive care unit, we were in shock, and we didn't know whether to say hello or goodbye. The nurses were trying to pump blood into him as fast as it was going out.
For anyone facing long-term treatment, one of the most important factors in a successful recovery is their personal support group. In this, Steve was and is blessed.
My wife and I live in Kelowna, and I'm a pastor at a church there, so it was very difficult to keep on working at the same time as Stephen was in the hospital. But we managed to figure it out, working 3 days in Kelowna and then commuting to Vancouver to spend 4 days with him in the hospital. The support and help that he would give to our family was absolutely incredible. It was actually more than we could have even asked or hoped for.
The most important thing in helping me with my rehabilitation is definitely my family and my fiance. They were there when I was sleeping. They were there when I woke up. They never left me, and they basically had shifts. So I always had someone in the room so I didn't feel alone.
Every day in the hospital, I was waiting for some kind of movement from Steve, and the one day he held and squeezed my hand was amazing.
I remember one time I went to visit Stephen in the hospital, and the nurse said, "I have a surprise for you." So I looked at Stephen, and he looks at me and he goes, "I love you, Mom."
And I was like 76 pounds. And I looked like crap. I had nose tubes, I had something in my throat, I had wires all over me, being told I could never walk again. And she came every day and said that I was so beautiful. I can't even say that I look beautiful.
Over several months at Vancouver General Hospital, Steve underwent no fewer than 60 separate surgeries. Steve's pelvis was rebuilt. His broken spine was repaired. Damaged intestines and muscles were stitched. Skin and muscle were grafted.
I had a general surgeon, a plastic surgeon, a vascular surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, and a physiatrist, and a whole other team of doctors.
First time I saw Steve, he was in an operating room.
He already had his major wounds dealt with. He was left with significant wounds to his abdomen and groin, as well as a limb which was questionable as to whether we could salvage it. The reality of the severe nature of Steve's injuries made us think that he would either die of an infection or possibly lose a leg.
After Steve got his full leg brace, which locked his knee into a straight position, he was able to achieve a lot more independent walking. He became independent with elbow crutches. He was able to do stairs. He was able to get in and out of his truck. He practiced getting on and off the floor. Basically, the sky became the limit once he got that brace. He became very, very mobile.
Steve's done amazingly well. He's well out of the norm in terms of the recovery of his leg and all his other injuries. He's exceeded all expectations in terms of our anticipated results for Steve.
It was a pleasure to work with Steve. He is a great kid. He has so much potential now.
In the 20 years that I've been a paramedic, Steve suffered some of the most grievous and horrendous injuries I've ever seen anybody survive. Really, it all came down to the fact that everything works. The emergency services did their part. He got the best doctors, the best hospital, the best nurses, and the best care possible, as well as the fact that he was young and strong enough to survive, and with the support of his family, he did extremely well, beyond anybody's expectations.
Steve shouldn't be here. Steve is here only because of his determination and some very lucky breaks from the medical support that he got.
My average day today is me hopping on my mountain bike with a homemade training wheel that I made. I ride my bike to the pool. I do an hour and a half at the pool, and I ride home. I get my truck. I drive to the gym. I do an hour in the gym, sometimes with a trainer or by myself. I then have to go to physio for an hour, and then I go to massage.
Steve has this passion about him, this zest for life that very few people exude, and everybody just loved being in his company.
Melissa's still with me after all the challenges, and it's been 2.5 years, and now we're looking forward to spending a lifetime together.
Steve and I will be getting married in Mexico and looking forward to our special day.
Good morning. Good morning. Why you all quiet? You sleep already? So, hey, thank you. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure that we're good at the back. We're good? We're good. So, just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of this today. Before I get too far into this, just want to say up front that, hey, if there's anything that I say, do that offends you, that you see on the screen, makes you feel woozy-woozy, I just want to let you know if you need to step out, take a breather, take some water, regroup, and come back whenever you can. Totally cool, will not offend me. We tell you that because about average per year, around 150 people pass out a year. That's not the goal of this today. We don't want people passing out. So I'm just pre-warning you guys. After I see people pass out, I PG more of this up. I make this more cleaner and more cleaner, but I can only make it so clean. So I'm just pre-warning you guys, and everyone's dealt with different things in their life, and it brings up different experiences. So I'm just forewarning you. Okay? So we'll take you back to the day this happened. This happened June 16, 2006. So I just had my 10th birthday not that long ago. We do celebrate it as a birthday for me. And so we just celebrated that. So what we were doing 10 years ago is we were awarded a contract to take a 2-lane highway from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where I'm from, to Whistler for the 2010 Winter Olympics. So 2-lane to a 4-lane. And it was a pretty technical, dangerous job. We're about 150 feet, 200 feet in the air in elevation. And on one side it's a vertical cliff mountain. On the other side is a 200-foot fall to the ocean. So that was kind of what we were working with. So that day, it was a Friday. Woke up just like I did today. Nothing special about it. I go to work. I did one task for about 2 hours and I finished it. Called my supervisor. Said, hey, I'm done. What do you want me to do next? He goes, hey, I got some trees for you to pull. Grab your gear. Let's go. So I grab my gear and I meet him in this spot here. That's the picture I got for him. We get to this spot, and the first thing he does, he wants to walk the cleared grub lines and explain what we need to do. So as we're walking the cleared grub lines, I start seeing some challenges that I'm faced with. First one, all these trees were leaning in one direction. Trees grow towards the sun. So they were all leaning towards that excavator in the photo. But what you don't see in the photo is right behind the excavator, you see a bit of trees. You see some little bit of daylight between them. Right behind those trees is the train tracks. We're under contract within 100 feet of any train company. We're in the right of way. We need to get permission to do any work within that 100 feet. So I go up to the representative, the train company, and said, hey, I'm not going to fight gravity. I'm going to follow these trees towards your tracks. I'm going to do my best to not hit your tracks, but I cannot guarantee I'm dealing with wood. They wouldn't sign off on that. So then I go up to my superintendent and say, hey, they tell me we can't do this. And he lets me talk, and I was trying to explain everything. And then he goes, oh, hey, forgot to tell you, by the way, Steve, you only have today to get this done. Anyone heard that yet in your career? So I heard that. And then instantly I start to get upset, and I go, what do you mean I only have today? And he goes, oh, we have this environmental toll window and expiring tonight. And if you don't get this done, all the other sequence events that need to happen after you can't happen. Now the problem with this delay, guys, it was one of those really, really unknown ones. It was so many frogs will show up, so many frogs gotta leave and be counted before we can go back to work. Well, that kind of doesn't work when the 2010 Winter Olympics are coming regardless. So it was kind of an important date. So again, there's another whole topic for leadership and scheduling and planning for another deal. So then I go, okay, I'm trying to think and rack my mind, what do I do next? I'm like, okay, I got the plan. Just give me an excavator, give me 1 of 5 guys to run it, and we'll get this job done for you today. So some time goes by, and the machine shows up like I asked for. All of a sudden, the supervisor shows back up with the operator. When the operator gets out of the truck, my first thought was, holy crap, that isn't any of the 5 guys I asked for, not one. They gave me a guy that was fresh. He was still within our 30-day ADOC deal, 30 days with us or less. I live in a town of 22,000 people still to this date. We know everybody. Was not the right guy for this job. Everyone needs to start somewhere, but not for this. And so I went up to the supervisor and said, hey, this isn't the right guy. I explained all the reasons why it was so important. I explained why I need any of those 5 guys, and to give you an idea of one of the reasons. Any of those 5 guys had 25 plus years logging experience doing this operation all day long. That's why I wanted it. So a whole bunch more time goes by of us talking, and then he goes, Steve, you done speaking now? And I said, yep. And then he looked at me in the face, pretty stern, and he pointed at the road, and he said, buddy, if you don't like this, there's the road right there, go use it. And when he told me that, anger consumed me, and I said every colorful cuss word you could think. And I told him he could take his job and shove it, I quit. And so I quit. I walked up to my truck and I was starting it and I was going to go home. But for some reason I see my phone on the dashboard. And this man needed to pick it up. So I picked it up. And I pushed the button, that's all I did. I pushed the button. And then a screen picture popped up. Take a wild guess who I was staring at. I was staring at Melissa. Now this is a pretty easy thing to say. I will tell you, most of you, not all of you, but most of you in this room have something that's so important to you in your life on your phone. Not all of you, but most of you do. So when I was looking at the most important thing in my life, this is where your mind plays some powerful tricks on you. Instantly went to, hey Steve, in 15 days, I have our mortgage payment due. In 15 days, I have her car payment, my truck payment, I had a boat payment, a snowmobile payment. Somehow when I was 22, I learned how to spend the money, I just didn't know how to pay for it. My credit cards were wrapped, because you have to have all the accessories with each one of those toys. How am I going to afford all these things without this job? I ended up convincing myself that this is not an option. I need this job. I got to do it. So that's what I did. Mine played some funny tricks on me. threw my phone on the dashboard, and I went down the hill. Operator, or the superintendent's gone, I'm assuming he's replacing me. Operator sitting on the tracks of the machine was like, whoa, what the heck just happened? And I go up to him and I said, hey, he said, I know you don't want to work with me, what do you want to do? And then I said, you need this job just as much as I do, let's just get her done. So he goes, okay, let's start working. And I said, well, wait, hold on. We better go do a hazard analysis because heaven forbid I get fired because the safety guy shows up and I get fired because I didn't do some paperwork. So I didn't believe in him back then, I just did it because I had to do it. So because I didn't really believe in it, I just penciled the heck out of it. And all it basically said for the steps is I would do an undercut, I would do a back cut, I would get him set up in the tree with the bucket. I go in my safe zone, and then only on my hand signal, we just maintain pressure to steer the tree where I wanted to go anyways. Then he would hit it to the ground, he'd pick that tree back up once it hit the ground, he'd deck the wood out of the way, rip out the stump, and all the associated hazardous steps we identified. That's kind of what we did. So now we have a plan, we can argue good or bad plan, but that was our plan. And we go to work. Well, 15, 20 trees have hit the ground, it's going okay, it's not wonderful, but we're doing it. And then we get to this tree here. So I go do my first step and I do my undercut and I want the tree to see where you see laying the photo. Did my back cut, got him set up in the tree, went in my safe zone. Now my first safe zone was somewhere way out of the screen, somewhere in the top right corner. And he couldn't see me, so he called me out and said, Steve, come down the hill and I'll tell you when to stop. Because we talked about, we thought it was more important to know where each other were versus me hiding behind trees. So I walk down the hill and I get to about this starting elevation, that's my boots on the ground. And I'm up in front of that tree, I'm behind it, and he's pushing the tree away from me, not towards me. So it's not like I gotta dodge trees. Now we're ready to go and I give him the hand signal to push. Now all he has to do at this point on is take that joystick and just turn the machine, and from that position, turn the machine in this direction and help guide it to the ground, that's it. So from this animation, just needs to pull in that direction, that's all, away from me. But then this is what happens. So you see from the animation, easiest way to explain this, after he pushes the tree, he lets go of it instead of following the plan. And then rotates back towards me, and as he's rotating back towards me, I honestly never thought for a second he was going to hit me with the bucket. It was, what the heck's so important? Why are you deviating from the plan? You must need to talk to me with your face or something. That's what I was thinking. And then I realized, holy crap, here comes the bucket. And I tried to jump out of the way, and I jumped right, threw my gear left, and the outside tooth and the one next to it caught me midair and slammed to the ground. When we hit the ground, the first feeling I felt was electrocution bolts. Instantly after that millisecond after, I felt like my legs caught on fire, they were burning. So then when I thought they were on fire, which they weren't on fire, but they felt like it, I looked down. When I looked down, I realized, holy crap, my legs are starting to separate from my body. Once I noticed that was happening, that's when I felt all my insides start to go south. So from there, operator finally sees me, lets go of me, calls for help, all the emergency procedures start. So from here, you got the operator on his knees, he's pretty much just crying the whole time, saying sorry. You got a couple of my friends, first aid attendants, construction manager, all there trying to assist, and then the professionals from the helicopter.
Statistically speaking, that's a true fact. If you guys focus on quality and safety, production will follow.